Okay. Today's class is creating custom menus in ProShow Producer, and I would like to welcome you all to creating custom menus in Producer. I don't know if I mentioned my name, but my name is Michelle, and I'm going to be your instructor for this class. If you decide to take this class again, because some people like to take the same class twice, to see if they get a different instructor that may have a different take on certain things, but I'm the instructor for today. So when we talk or think about a menu, it's really the first impression of your show. This is going to be the first thing that your audience is going to see when the DVD is played. So it's certainly the first thing that is shown, as far as your design goes. And with that being said, it's not uncommon for many people that are designing shows to begin thinking about how they're going to configure their menu when they're still in the design phase. So this course is going to help you take a look in detail at the options that are available for you to create a truly customized menu. And throughout this course, hopefully you'll learn, or I'll be able to show you, that how to construct a menu using the same tools that you're accustomed to using while you are creating your slideshows. And so with the use of custom images, backgrounds, and audio, and a few other features that are specific to ProShow Producer, you're going to see that you're able to create some really professional looking DVD menus similar to what you would see on a film DVD or a Hollywood DVD. And we're going to go ahead and start talking about the various outputs that are available to you when you are going to want to include a menu. Not all of the outputs in ProShow include a menu or have a menu inclusion capability, and I don't know how many of you all are aware of the variety of formats within ProShow which support custom menus. If you guys hear, I'm sorry, this is just a little side note. If you guys hear like a loud kind of jackhammer noise, it's because there's some construction going on, and I apologize about that. So the formats that support custom menus, let's go ahead and open up our Create Output window. They're going to include executable, Flash, Share Show, Web Show, PC Auto Run, Video CDs, Blu-ray, and DVD. So in this course, in today's class, we're going to use an executable to create our menu so that we can quickly see the results of our work. And that leads me to just a little sidebar here. Many people ask us how they are able to preview their menu or preview their shows without writing or wasting a DVD disc. Creating the PC executable is going to be the best option for doing this. This is going to be a small file that gets saved to your computer, and the menu that you create and how your shows look is going to appear the same way that they do whenever you create a DVD. So this is a great way to go ahead and test your how your output or how your menu is going to look, because there's no way to preview the menu in real time. So sorry about that. Okay, so there's just a few little sidebar notes that I want to go over. You notice that I went up here to the main toolbar and clicked on Create to go to the Create Output window. You can also click on the Create Output button. Another thing that you can do are using shortcut keys. We have a list of shortcut keys or keyboard shortcuts on our website. If you go to photodex.com and then go to the support page and then go to documentation, it's going to show not only the manuals in PDF format, but as the keyboard shortcut page as well, and you can download that and save it. So that being said, if you use Alt-C on your keyboard, that's going to bring down the drop-down menu. And you can use your keys. I don't know how well you're able to see that. You're able to use your directional keys on your keyboard to go ahead and go down or up on the list, and then press Enter, and that's going to open up the the Create window for that output that you select. That way, your hands do not need to leave the keyboard as much. Another thing that we can do to open up the Create Output dialog window is click on Alt plus O, and that opens up the Create Output window, and then we can use our mouse to select the output option that we want. Sorry, I just had to adjust my mic real quick. So let's go ahead and click on PC Executable, because that's what I said that we were going to be doing in today's class. I'm just going to change this background because it's pretty distracting to me, and I can show you how we're going to customize everything later on. I just want to now take the time to go over everything in this menu. This is pretty much your generic menu background. You'll notice that down here, let me get my highlighting tool. Right here where it says Menu Contents, this is where you're able to add or type in the main title of your show. You're also able to enable or disable video thumbnails. And video thumbnails determines whether this thumbnail plays back as a video or as a still image. Usually when you have video thumbnails enabled, by default, as you can see, the first 5 seconds are the video are going to be looped. So if you're not using a video as a thumbnail, then the first 5 seconds of your show is going to be looped. I've found, this has just been my experience, but I found that a lot of people, when they're viewing a DVD that has video thumbnails enabled, they may get confused. They think that they're watching only 5 seconds worth of their show, and that their show did not burn completely to disk or correctly. So that's why, in my opinion, and you're certainly entitled to have your own, I think that it's good to just go ahead and disable that feature. And over here, just to the right of the menu contents section, we have the menu layout. And this is going to be where you have your Create Custom Menu button, which launches a window that we're going to open up later to go through the various options of customizing our menu and sprucing it up to make it look better than what we see right now on this preview window. Below our Create Custom Menu button is our Layout drop-down menu. Now that is going to, our Layout drop-down menu is going to say how many thumbnails we are going to have on any one page of our menu. So right now I have 3 shows included. If I wanted to have 2 thumbnails centered, I can. Of course, these are things that we're going to be able to customize later on. Or if I wanted to have a caption instead of thumbnails, I could do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put it to 3 thumbnails center. You'll notice that it goes from 1 all the way down to 8 thumbnails per page. And then below the Layout drop-down menu, we have our aspect ratio. This is going to allow us to have our show or our menu in 16:9 or 4:3, or a custom a custom ratio. And when you want to select custom, you'll select it in the drop-down menu, and then just to the right of the drop-down menu is the box where you can go ahead and type in your values. My show is at a 16:9 or aspect ratio, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that going and have my menu at a 16:9 ratio, because I am going to play it on a 16:9 television or monitor, depending on, if you're outputting to DVD or what have you. Excuse me. And then just over to the right, we have our menu backgrounds. You can either sort by theme or you can sort by all. And then above that, we have our download more menus button. This is going to open up our download extra dialog window where you can download menu packs that we may have available, or backgrounds and borders. Then we have an icon of a folder. This is going to allow us to load a menu that we have saved. And then just to the right of that is the saved menu configuration icon, which looks like a floppy disk to me. So now that we've gone over just the very basic and generic menu, we're going to click on the Create Custom menu button. So as we open up the Create Custom menu window, you'll notice that the options for creating a menu are organized in a way that's similar to your slide options window. So each tab of the Customize menu window performs the functions that it describes. Now I am going to give a description of each tab and go into detail of the options that are available under each tab, starting from the left to the right, just to keep things organized and going in one fluid rate. So going from left to right, the first tab that we have, or category, is our General tab. And on our General tab, you can create as many pages as you would like to have on your menu. You can also control the basics of the page, including the title, the background image, and you can also configure your music, and we're going to go into detail on that. So as I previously mentioned, all of the pages that are wrapped up in the menu itself are going to be shown down here, and we're going to go into adding pages later on, so you can kind of see how you may want to create additional pages that do not necessarily have a thumbnail that's going to play a show on them. So we have our preview pane that's on the right, and the options that you can adjust over here on the left. And beginning with our main title, right now I have custom menus because that's the name of this class. I'm going to go ahead and change it to vacation spots. And when you enter a title here, it's going to be displayed on every individual page in the menu. And beneath the main title is the option to adjust the background color for all of the pages. Right now I have my background color set to black. There is also a box for disabling and enabling a custom background color for just that one particular page that you're working on. And you'll know what page you're working on because it'll be highlighted in blue, or a blue border around it. And when you're in other tabs or categories, you'll notice that it's only showing layers that are specific to that page, or thumbnails that are specific to that page. So when we have custom color background for this page and we click the set color, this is the same thing as in slide options. This is going to allow you to click on any color that you want to use as your background. I'm going to go ahead and keep black and as my color for this background. I just wanted to show you how you can change that. And then we also have our navigation settings page. This allows you to show loop all or play all. And what loop all does is it allows you to play your show or shows in a continuous loop. So I have 3 shows here. If I select play all when I go to play my executable or DVD, it's going to play the first show, then the second, and then the third, and then loop right back to the first show until and play through again until I stop the show or shows from playing. Play all is going to appear when you have more than one show on your DVD or executable. This is there so that the viewer can click on it, play all the shows once in sequential order, and then once it plays the last show, it's going to return to the menu. When you only have one show, that is disabled by default. So you do have the options to enable or disable them by just clicking on them here. You also have the options for configuring your menu background just below our background color and our navigation window. So if we want to select a different background image for all of our pages, we're going to select or click on the select button. We have 2 options that are available to us. We can select an image from a file, which basically allows us to choose any image on our computer, or we can select from media source. Now this can either be built-in content in the program or media source DVDs that you've purchased from Photodex. So if I clicked on my Albums and Collages Media Source DVD, I can just select a background image and click Open. I also have the option for setting a custom image for a particular page so that not all of my pages that I have on my menu share the same background image. So as you can see, you have the option for configuring custom settings for each page so that you don't have to have everything looking the same. You can add a little bit of variety, and the same thing can be said about adding a music track to your menu. You can add a music track that's going to play for all of your menu pages, or you can actually have a custom music track for a particular page in your menu. Let's say or you may notice that when you played a DVD at home that you got from Blockbuster or purchased from Walmart or whatever, that when you go to the special features page that it's playing different music than what was on the main menu. So it works just like that. Excuse me. And then finally, underneath our preview window, we have our pages list. And this is similar to a slide list, and you can select the page that you want to work on by clicking it. You'll also notice, let me grab my pen. You'll also notice that you have the option to move your pages around. I'm going to clear my screen. I apologize for that. So let's go ahead and add another page while we're on this General tab. And you'll see that it popped up right next to the first one. So what would be a useful thing to add a second page for, you might be wondering? Well, what if we wanted to include and About the Author page. This is a great way to advertise yourself. You can have all of the information, all of your contact information, as well as maybe your company logo as a layer on this, or use your company layer as a background, or I'm sorry, company logo as a background image for this particular page. And so you'll see that a few things happen automatically. It uses the same background and it displays the same main title. And we have Loop All and Play All are still on this page as well. And as I mentioned earlier, you can change each page to suit your preferences. So let's say that I want to change the background for this particular page, page 2. Actually, let's go ahead and do that right now. We're going to click on Custom Image for this page, and we're going to select an image from our media source. I'm going to choose the Patriotic 03 image from our media source, or built-in content. And if I wanted to work with audio, I can toggle the custom option to import audio for this page. Again, whenever I want to import something, I'm able to select a file from my hard drive, something that's my own, or something that comes from media source. I'm not going to add an audio file at this time, however, for this class. But I did want to show you how you can toggle that. So now let's go ahead and go over to our Thumbnails tab. Now this tab allows you to control what shows appear on each page of your menu. And you can also control the location of the show thumbnails and their behaviors. Excuse me. And you could actually, if you wanted to, you could remove the thumbnail from one page and add it to another page. But keep in mind that you can only have, one thumbnail representing one show. You can't have two thumbnails for the one show. So keep that limitation in mind. You can have several thumbnails on a page, but each thumbnail pertains to only one show. And you'll notice that when I move my images around, that a grid appears and it kind of snaps the layers into place, or the thumbnails into place. If you didn't want to see that, you could right click and disable automatic grid. You'll also notice that the caption or the show title moves with the thumbnail. Whenever I'm moving the thumbnail, you'll see that the caption is moving underneath it. Okay. And then you'll also see down here, well, let's go in order. You're able to change the highlight color of your thumbnails when they're selected and when they're clicked. You can change the outline size of the highlight. Some of the thumbnail effects are going to be only for, apply only to PC playback. It's not an option that you're going to be able to see whenever you're watching a DVD. And we also have our shows, these options include, grow active thumbnail. You can enable or disable that. You can make an inactive thumbnail transparent. You can enable or disabling the pulsing of the thumbnail outline. And you can pause inactive video thumbnails. Below our thumbnail effects heading, we also have show settings. Show settings are going to be our setting the menu title. So like my first one has, the first show is called Untitled Pro Show 1. I can call that, let's see, this is a California hotspot. And you'll notice once I've done that, it changed the name up here. And I can do that for each one of my shows. I've just changed show 2, the title for show 2, to Beach Resort. And you'll see that that updates automatically. And I'm going to set the title for show 3. And I've changed the third one to Desert Land. Okay, so now that we're done, I wanted to also, just for the sake of showing you, show you how I can set the menu thumbnail or the thumbnail for that show. So once I've clicked the button, this is the same window that you would see under the Shows tab when you go to create your output, and like let's say you select PC executable or you select DVD. There is a Shows tab, and you can also set your menu title and your thumbnail there. So we can add a slide from our show. We can use a slide from our show as our thumbnail, or we can select an image from file. When we select image from file, click the browse button so that you're able to browse your computer for that image that you would like to use. I've decided that I want to go ahead and use the balloons, the hot air balloon pictures. So I'm going to select that and click on apply. I like my other images, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep those as is. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to our layers. Sorry, I accidentally added a page that I didn't need at this time. So I went ahead and removed it by clicking the remove button. I highlighted the page and then I selected remove. So under our layers tab, you're going to notice that it works just like the one found under slide options. You can add layers to your menu. You can configure their position and location of the layer, as well as include interactivity for the layer. So we'll take notice of this little icon. Let me grab my pen. Let's see. Okay. This icon that has like 3 windows stacked or 3 squares, that means that it's a global setting. It's something that's going to be applied to every page. When you see only one film strip, that means it's only applied to the one page. Let me go ahead and clear my screen. So you'll notice here that we have add and remove buttons. We also have up and down arrows that allow us to move our layers or change the order of them. We also have our adjustment effects like opacity and brightness and white point, etc. And these are the same things that you would see in slide options or are perhaps accustomed to using in slide options. when you're working with individual layers. We also have our editing tools that allow you to change the rotation. Just like in slide options, you can flip the image vertical or horizontal, and you can also add a drop shadow to your layer. We also have our the ability to outline. Hold on one second. Hang on for just one moment, please. Okay, I do apologize for the delay. Excuse me. So you'll notice that we have this layer settings box right here. This is going to allow you to change the layers. I can either, I'm sorry. You'll notice that this background image is unchecked. We chose not to use this image, and when we instead change the background to this patriotic 03 JPEG image. If I wanted to change that image, I can click on Select File and change it. I can click on the Edit button and it'll open up any third-party image editor that I may have, or I can look at the properties of that image. I'm also able to move the positioning where I have that image positioned on my menu page. I can also change the zoom value for the image. I can zoom it in, I can zoom it out. You're also able to have an action on a click. So if I included another layer on this page, or if I'm on this page and I want to give my layers certain actions, I can do that as well. So right down here you'll notice that I have my layer 2 highlighted, because that shows that I'm working with that layer. It's showing that the action on click is to play a show. What show is it going to play? It's going to play show 2. You have the option to jump to a certain menu page, or go to a previous page, go to a next page, loop all shows, play all shows, toggle full screen, activate full screen, deactivate full screen. Excuse me. So these interactivities allow your viewer to interact with your system and choose what they want to watch, and that's basically what these actions are designed to do. So keep your actions in mind when you go to create your menu. One of the things you may realize if you're not careful is that you may create a way for your viewer to navigate to another page, but you may forget to add a way for them to navigate back to the previous page. So we have our captions tab that is the last in the list. You'll notice that for each caption that I have, it's shown in the captions list. You also have check boxes way to the right of the caption. This allows you to enable or disable the specific caption. So let's say that I'm on page 2 and I don't want page 2 to say vacation spots. So I'll go ahead and disable that. I can add in another caption because I said that another useful thing that I may want to do is I may want to add an about the author page. I'm able to change the font as well as the font size and the color, things that you're accustomed to seeing in your slide options window. Once again, let's try. So you're also able to put an action on click to your captions and choose the destination. I'll kind of go over that in just a moment. You're able to change your caption settings, such as opacity for your caption, enabling a drop shadow or an outline. I find that I like using a drop shadow more often than I like using the outline. We also have our alignment, and you can change the position by typing in the value, or you can just grab the caption and move it to where you would like for it to go. You can adjust the font size by moving your mouse wheel in or out. Okay. So I've added my about the author caption. I removed vacation spots from this page. Now I want to add a caption that gives my contact information, because this is my about the author page, so it should tell about me. First of all, I want the name of my business. We'll call it Michelle's Photography. Can change the and you can actually position it anywhere that you would like. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. If I wanted to change the color, because I added this as a separate caption, I can do that as well. Whenever you use the carriage return, when you're entering multiple lines of text, then that text is all going to share the same settings. So if you want to be able to have your captions to have different settings like size and color and font, then you'll want to click the add button. And so now I've added the name of my photography business. Let's go ahead and add my contact information, such as my email. And then I'm going to add my phone number. You'll also notice that this page has loop all and play all enabled. If I wish to not have loop all and play all enabled on this page, I can go ahead and deselect it, and it's still going to remain on my first page. So I removed it from page 2, and it is still remaining on page 1. Page 1 also has the caption next, so that I can navigate to the next page. So if I highlight next in the captions list, you'll notice that the action on click is to go to the next page. What we can also do is we can disable that. I can add in about author, set the action on click to either jump to a menu page. Like, let's say that I have 3 pages. That's when I would probably want to use jump to a page and then put in the page number. But since I only have 2 pages, I'm just going to go ahead and allow go to next page. So you'll see that we have the ability to enable or disable captions. We can also add captions. If I wanted to adjust the way that the caption appears for my main title, I can go ahead and do that. I can also set different fonts for each one of my show titles. I find that I'm never really good at picking out a good font. I always want to use Comic Sans, and then I get made fun of because I'm using that font. So if I wanted each show to have a different excuse me, a different font and a different size, I could definitely do that. So as you can see, when you approach your menu page, you're using the same features that you use throughout your show creation process. Excuse me. So let's say that I wanted to add a layer. I want my company logo to be on my About the Author page because I didn't use that as my menu background. So to do that, we would click the Add button. First, you need to make sure that you have the page that you want to use selected. Then you can click the Add button. I'm going to select an image from our media source. And I'm going to use the media source from our travel memories. I can adjust the size of the layer by using my mouse wheel or by going to layer settings and changing the zoom value by either typing in the exact value that I want or by using the slider. If I wanted this menu or this layer to have an action associated with it, like if I wanted it to go to the main page, or if I wanted it to even exit the show, I could do that as well. So I'm going to have it jump to page 1. I'm not really too thrilled about how my layers are appearing on this page, so I'm just going to go ahead and change that around. I just want to go ahead and do a few things since we've discussed what each thing does. Now we can go ahead and start customizing it so you can see the approach that I'm taking right now. And you'll notice that the grid lines that appear kind of help me to keep everything leveled and without looking crazy. Like whenever you try to hang a picture on the wall and you don't have a leveler, and you kind of hammer in your nails and they're not even. I know at my house I definitely have too many holes on my wall from not really measuring out where they should be, because I don't have a good eye for that. So I'm going to go ahead and also move my vacation hotspots. If I wanted to change the caption from previous to main menu, I could do that as well by going ahead and disabling that, or even just typing over it too would work. And you can use a bold or italic. I can't really see that, so I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bigger. And I'm going to move the position. So now if I wanted to preview this, because you can't preview it in real time, what I'm going to have to do is go ahead and output the show. So to do that, I'm just going to click on OK, and I'm disabling my menu thumbnails because I forgot to do that earlier when I was speaking about it. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the Create Output or Create button. I'm going to allow that to render, and then I'll go ahead and preview. It should just take a moment. And I'm not going to be able to speak while we're playing this because I think that it might mess up the audio. So I'm just going to be silent while that goes ahead and plays. Oh, I forgot to change the settings. Sorry. So you'll notice that whenever our menu comes up, I have my About the Author that I can click on, and it's supposed to go to our next page. And it did do that. Remember I set an action to that layer? Well, if I click on it, let's see what happens. It goes back to our main menu like it's supposed to. We have our options for loop all and play all on this page, but we removed it from our About the Author page so you don't see it. Then I can play each show individually by selecting the show that I want to watch. It's really good to break up really long shows instead of having one show with 1,000 slides on it. Go ahead and break that show up. Then add those shows that you created, the smaller shows, to your DVD or to your executable so that your viewer can, watch the portion of it that they would like. So you'll notice that when I selected one show thumbnail, it played the show once. If I selected loop all, it would play all 3 of my shows in a continuous loop. If I selected play all, it's only going to play all shows in sequential order one time and then come back to this main menu. So that about does it. As I mentioned a few times, these features that we have whenever you're creating your custom menu are pretty much the same features that you're using during the creation process, that you're using for the layers on your slides. And so you can kind of think about approaching the construction of your menu the same way as you would think about the construction of your slides. And you can even get out a piece of paper and a pencil and perhaps draw out, just like a basic little diagram of how you want your menu to appear even before you start to build it in ProShow. So that can kind of help you to visualize what your final product is going to look like and cut down on a lot of do-overs. And if you wanted to save your menu configuration so that you can use it over and over again, remember to use that. Let's go back. You can just click on your Save Menu button, and it's going to save your configuration. So even if you wanted to use 3 different shows, or if I wanted to use 3 different shows here, I can, and then their thumbnails would pop up here. And if I wanted to go in and adjust, the show thumbnail or the caption or anything like that, I can certainly do that. So that about does it for today's class. We have time for our questions and answers. Feel free to go ahead and ask anything that you would like. Hold on one second. Here's me. We have a few questions. Okay, so the loop all is going to apply. I have a question that asks if the loop all only applies to the shows that are on that page or all the pages. It's going to apply to all the shows on all the pages. Well, at least that's how I believe it should. Let's go ahead and take a look at that to be sure. I'm going to create a new show here real quick. Just going to name it test. I'm going to change how my thumbnails appear to thumbnail center. I'm not going to go through configuring anything else because we just want to see what's going to happen here. I'm going to add or enable loop all onto this second page here. Which it is enabled. It's just not enabled on my third page. Sorry about that. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. So we have loop all on both pages that contain 2 shows. Let's go ahead and click create. The diag. Okay, hold on one second. And I'm going to address my second question. Oops. Okay, so that's what I thought. It's going to go ahead and play all of the shows, not just the shows for that particular menu page. So that's a really good question to ask, actually. I apologize if we are having any audio issues. I try not to speak while I'm playing something because I know it's not the audio may not work well. So another question that we have is, it asks if the diagonal lines are there to keep you in the safe zone. Are you referring to the red grid lines that appear as I'm moving the layers around? Well, are you talking about these right here? Like where my hand is positioned? Those are to keep you in the safe zone. Thank you. Yes, those are to keep you within the safe zone. I know the safe zone is a really big issue with some of the older model TVs. It's not so bad on the widescreen televisions now, unless they've changed their settings on the TV to like overscan, um, to have the display overscanning, because you can have like original and then filling and then overscanning, which just makes it like really stretched and huge. So that, yes, the diagonal lines are there to keep you within the safe zone. And our next question asks if the custom menus follow along with all the other outputs as well. Are you referring to the custom menu that we created today? Am I able to do that in the other outputs like share show or something else? Then the answer is yes. You would be able to do those same customizations. Okay, let me... Oh, yes. That is a good thing to mention. Whenever you first open up the program, like after you just downloaded it and installed the program, and you go to create your menu, you'll see that, let me get out of here. Over here, where we have these menu backgrounds, it's only going to have about 8 of them there. And that's because you need to download the more menus. You can do that by clicking the plus sign to download the extra content. We have Dads and Grads, Holiday, Mother's Day, Love and Romance, Spring, Summer Fun, and just normal non-theme packed menu background. So you would select the ones that you want to install and then click on the Install Selected button, and then it'll automatically populate in here once it's completed downloading that. What's the difference between a web show and the other internet web show? Are you referring to are you talking about Flash, or are you just talking about ShareShow? The difference between ShareShow, okay, web show and Flash. Well, web show is going to actually have better quality than the Flash. It's going to be a smaller file size. It's going to use our Presenter plugin, which means that it will not be compatible with a Mac. It's basically the same format as, it's the same thing as the ShareShow. It's a PX file. A lot of people, or some people, are weary of installing a plugin that they're not familiar with. So if you're going to be designing shows for your website, it's a really good idea to offer your viewers the ability to watch the show in different formats. You can even put a disclaimer for the best quality, watch this web show that is the PX format. Plugin is required. And then, if they're not really worried about watching something that has the best quality, then they can go ahead and watch the Flash show because that uses the Flash player. You do have to have a viewer for the web show. It's our Presenter plugin, actually. Let's see. Usually whenever you click on the show on the website, it's going to tell you to install the ActiveX control. But a lot of times people will just close that out. They can go onto our website, go to Downloads, Presenter plugin, and then they can click here to start their download. So for the web show, it's going to use the Presenter plugin, and for the Flash show, it's just going to use a normal Flash player that most people have installed on their computers nowadays and are probably more comfortable with having. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. A question, or I'm sorry, I cannot speak and read at the same time apparently. Another question that we have is, how do I create a custom menu that does not use any shows? For example, I would like to make a menu that has captions that will launch the PC executable shows that I previously created. It's like the way that the original Pro Show Workshop 3 worked. So I think if I understand you correctly, which you can correct me if I am wrong. Oh, whoops. I think I'm going click happy at this point. Hold on one second. Okay, so now that Pro Show's refreshed. If you don't want to use thumbnails, you can use what's called list. So the viewer can click on the caption to start the show. Is that what you wanted to know? Well, I'm not entirely sure that. Are you just wanting to be able to? Well, you have two options for. You can save your theme. Down here we have save theme and save layout. So saving your theme, it's going to save the background information that you used and the basic arrangement. It's not the same as saving the menu. It's not going to save your shows or the captions. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yeah, you may want to go ahead and contact our support to ask them so they can. Some things are just easier to ask when you're able to actually speak with someone. Another question that we have asks if the Flash would be like YouTube. Pretty much, yes, it would. And I think a lot of times when you're transitioning from, and depending on the transitions that you're using on your slides, the quality is not that great as they're transitioning from one slide to another. It might look kind of grainy or pixelated or something like that when you're using Flash. How would I do an interactive show? Are you referring to things within your shows, like a caption that you can have inside of your show, not on the menu? Okay. So you're referring specifically to interactivity on your menu. Well, there's two types of interactivity that you can have. We can either have interactivity for layers that you're using on your menu, and you would use the action on click. Now, the only options that you have available, and this is like, remember when I created this menu page and this layer that's on here? This layer I have set to jump to to a menu page, and I have it set to jump to menu page 1. So whenever I click on it, and this is my page 3, it's just going to go right back to page 1. It's not going to go to the previous page. I can have it play a specific show. I'm able to have it go to a previous page or to a next page. I'm able to have it exit. I'm able to have it toggle full screen or deactivate full screen, play all shows, or loop all shows. Those are the only options that are available as far as layered interactivity. And it's pretty much the same thing with your captions as well. You're going to have those same types of interactivity. Now with your slides, in your slideshow, you can have some caption interactivity. I'm going to open that up real quick so I can, and I do want to say that with your slides, when you're using interactivity, that's only going to work for like a PC executable and for a web show. or so if I wanted this to open up, or I can have it open up my email client so that someone can email me. I can have it run a program, exit. I can have it open up a URL. So if I wanted, whenever my caption that I just put in to open up the Photodex website, and that gives you more interactivity options than the menu does, but that is a class that you would probably want to take, the captions class, for more information about that. Okay, so another question that we have is, can I explain some of the other outputs for shows? Yes, I can. If you have specific questions, let me know. That might make it easier for me. So let's go ahead and start with our video file. ProShow allows you to create, I think, like 40 or more outputs. You can create output to devices and disks and all kinds of stuff. So for our create video file, this is not going to allow you to use a menu. Some people like to create a video file because they're going to show it on a presentation, or because they're going to use another software for whatever reason to write it to disk, or you can create a slideshow, make a video of that slideshow, and then take that video and import it into ProShow, into another one of the slideshows that you're doing. So we have the ability to create a DVD MPEG video, an HD, which is high definition video file, an MPEG video CD, which that doesn't have like really good quality. It's like 320 by 240, I believe. DVD is 720 by 480. AVI, compressed or uncompressed. PC, which is just an executable, and custom. So when you do custom, you're able to do AVI, flash video, which will just be an FLV, MPEG 1, 2, 4, OGG, Theora, QuickTime, and Windows Media. So whenever you have someone that has a Mac and you don't know what kind of players that they have installed, and you do not know how willing they are to install a player that they may need to watch a video, go ahead and send them a QuickTime. And you will need to have QuickTime installed on your PC. Oops. When you create a DVD, okay. When you create a DVD, you can either use ProShow to write that file to a disk, or you can have ProShow render the video into an ISO image file. And whenever you create an ISO image file, that means you're going to use third-party software like Nero or ImageBurn to take that file and write it to disk. It's also a great way to archive your shows. You can just go ahead and create an image file, put it on a external drive or something, and then, months down the road, if you wanted to write that file to disk, you can just select it and burn it. So a video file is not really the same thing as an image file. Your image file is going to be able to include your menu, any of the options that you have, such as the audio format, if you include an executable, it'll have that on there. It'll have branding. So no, it's not the same. You can create a show that has your, like a small show that has your logo on it, or a short video, and re-import that into ProShow. You can, create the show in ProShow and then go to create video file and select the type of file that you want to create. So yeah, that is a great thing that you can do as well. Vimeo output. I think that Vimeo is probably a little more professional looking than YouTube. The quality of the videos are also better than YouTube, I think. That's my opinion. And I do not... And you can sign up for a free account by just going to Vimeo.com. And I think that there also may be like some sort of upgraded account. Yeah, so you can have your basic, which allows you to upload 500 megabytes per week. You can upload one HD video. You can have, all this that's listed right here. And then for the Plus, which is something that you are required to pay for, you can upload a lot more. So, and you'll see the options for that. And Vimeo output is right here. It's underneath Blu-ray. And the window looks very similar to what your window looks like whenever you're going to upload to Facebook. If you see a green bar that tells you that there's an update available, it's usually a pretty good idea to go ahead and download and install the available updates. But you can select what kind of quality that you want, whether it's standard definition or high definition. Then you can enter your title, description, and tag. You'll have to log into your account. Yeah, it's like another YouTube, but I think that the videos are going to look better than YouTube. Than YouTube videos do as far as the quality. So you can either upload directly to Vimeo. I think I say that wrong. I don't know if it's Vimeo or Vimeo, directly from ProShow, or you can save the file to your computer and then manually upload it. I'm not really sure how you would know if it meets the 500 megabytes per week. Whatever, there may be a, I don't have an account, so I can't log in to see. There may be some sort of account settings that you can go to that kind of tells you how much space that you've already used up for the week. If you create the file, the video file, and manually upload it, you can kind of just take a look to see what the size of that video is, and then, kind of add your video sizes together to see if it reached 500. But I would definitely, if you're interested in Vimeo, you should check out www.vimeo.com for more information. I know this is one of those things where we had a lot of users uploading to it, and they wanted to know if we had an automatic upload to it like Facebook or something. We also allow you to upload directly to Facebook as well as YouTube, and those windows look the same as far as the information that you need to fill out. And sometimes I'm asked, if someone should create a video CD or if they should create a DVD. I usually say create a DVD because not only does a DVD hold more space or have more space, it has better quality as well, and it's probably going to be more compatible with players. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you were able to come, and please come back for more of our classes. If any of you have any suggestions for things or classes that you would want to see us teach, please put that on the survey that we send out to you for the classes, or you can even contact us at support@photodex.com, and we will forward those emails to the appropriate departments. It's always good to have customer feedback and know what we can do for you. I have another question that asks if I can tell more about stuff under more options. Can you specify what kind of under create? Oh, the more output options that you have available? Okay, so since the release of 3.5, we've incorporated Blu-ray. That's, of course, you're going to need a Blu-ray burner and Blu-ray discs for that. I usually recommend that you go ahead and at least have one rewritable disc. For the more options. I'm sorry. So we have show templates, which means that it's going to create a template from the show that I have open. It's going to remove the content from the show because I'm creating a template out of this. And if I want to continue to create the show or save the show as a template, then I click on OK. That'll go through and remove the images, and it'll create the template for me. I'm just waiting for this to catch up. So I can name my template anything and give it a description and save it, and then it removes all the content and I can just drag in an image. Let's go back. Still frames. This is if you want a show that's just going to be a still thing that's going to capture each frame. You're going to be able to capture just the current frame, capture a certain number of frames per second, or capture one frame per slide. If you want to be able to print content from your show, then this is what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to capture the frame. You're able to choose where you would like to save that to. I'm sorry, I was just reading some of the questions that came in. Also, if you wanted to create, what's the word I'm looking for, like a disc label, if you're putting your discs into like a hard plastic case or something and you want a DVD cover for it and you want to use something from your slideshow, then this is also what you would do. You would save the image as a JPEG and then print it out. You can't print from ProShow, but you can print from other applications that you have on your computer. Then we have video CD. That, and I didn't save my show. That's going to just be saved onto a regular CDR. The quality is not very good on it. I believe CDs hold about 700 megabytes of space, and it may not be compatible with all players. Usually when you go to play a video CD, you'll see these numbers, 1, 2, 3. You'll need to press the number on your remote and then press enter or select to play that show. Let's see. You're also able to create a screensaver from your show. and email your show. Emailing your show may not be as easy as it sounds. Because it's emailed in the form of a PC executable, a lot of the times, either due to size or just the fact that it is an executable, mail servers will reject them, thinking that it's some sort of malicious file. Viruses come in the form of an executable, so they may think that is what it is, and that's why they'll reject it. More often than not, it's rejected. So you can use another output such as Share Show or Facebook or YouTube to share your show with someone, or you can upload it to a server that will allow you to send someone an email to download the content. Delmar, you asked me, but that won't save the menu. Are you asking about the Vimeo output? That Vimeo... Oh, no, the save template is just for a show. No, that does not allow you to save a menu. That's just a template. Let's say you create a show and you've done all these fabulous effects and you would really like to use that show again, but only with different pictures. That is when you would create a template of the show. Then you would open up the template and just drop in your images. It's sort of like slide styles, but instead of loading your images first and then applying the template, you'll open up the template and then apply the images. No, you'll save your, okay, I was asked if you create a menu, or I'm sorry, if you create a project, will your custom menu be saved? Automatically, no, it will not. You will be prompted to save your menu. So you can save your shows individually, you can save the project, and you'll be able to save the menu. ProShow will ask you if you want to do all of those things. So the menu is not embedded into the project. We've got some really good questions today. Yes, you can cut and paste or copy and paste small parts of a template and add new things to it. Yes. So it's like, with slide styles, you can only do it slide per slide per slide. Template is great because you have all of your slides there and all of the effects are there, and then all you have to do is just add the images to it. So it's, if you make a really nice looking show, go ahead and create a template for it. Your original show will still be there, and then you'll have the template from that show that will be there for you to use with, other images. Do we have any more questions? When you ask, can you add the picture contents to a show, are you referring to like the file name or something like that? Yes, you can. Let me show you how to do that. That's what we refer to as a macro. So what you would do is you would go to captions. You can do it two ways. The first way is to open up slide options, and we'll go down here and there's a little link that says insert macro. Click on that. We want to go to predefined macros. You can choose file name only or file name with extension. You actually have a lot of options here, but I think that the most commonly used one is file name. It's definitely a good thing to use when you're doing like a proofing show. So I've selected file name only, and I'm going to click add and close. and it has added the file name to my slide. If I want it to be applied to each slide in my show, I will go to Show Captions. Remember, show settings or settings that you do in show options are going to be applied to your entire show, not an individual slide. So again, we would go to, let me do it, hold on. Okay, I just wanted to grab a show that has more images in it so you can get a better feel for it. And that'll be shown as a \F, which is something that you can go ahead and just type in if you don't want to go to the insert macro. As you start using this over and over again, you kind of start learning shortcuts that you can use. And my font is way too big, but sorry. Okay, let's see. So I have Abstract 01. I'll go over to my next slide. I have Abstract 02. Each slide contains my file name for them. Which may be kind of hard for you to see. Okay, so let's see. We have another question here. Can you add all the pictures to give pictures to families that they can print? Yes, you can do that. That's going to be like when you create a DVD. My shows aren't saved, so each time I try to go to create an output, ProShow is telling me that I need to save my show before I'm able to go to that output. Excuse me. So in Producer, you have two options for including content. If you want to include your original photos, you go to the Burning tab and you check the box that says Include Original Photos on the DVD. This is going to be for DVD, CD, or Blu-ray output only, and it's not going to be the same if you do an executable. If you want to include additional content, let's say you want to include like some music or something else, a PDF order form for someone to order something from your proof show that you gave them, what you can do is you can put those files into a folder, and then you're going to check the box to include additional content and browse for the folder that you want to add. Just keep in mind, after you create your DVD, and then 2 weeks later when you're going to go create a new show and a new DVD, you may want to make sure that that's unchecked, because you may inadvertently add that same content to your new disc. Branding is something that, hold on one second. Branding is something that, like, if you, just for fun, or if you have a business, you can have your logo appear here instead of this Photodex thing. You're able to choose what you want it to say. Like, I'm going to put something silly. Hi. Now, wait. Oh, and I didn't spell hi right. Okay. You're also able to, select an icon that you want to use, or you're able to choose an About Show. You can load a brand that you may already have or on your PC, or you can save what you've configured here. I know that whenever, just to give you an example of what I have used that for, my son plays baseball, and after each season, towards the end of the season, I make a free DVD for all of the parents that have, photos of all the kids. I kind of like to do stop motion for the baseball DVDs that I give out, but I'll do something fun and maybe put their team logo. So if they're the Rangers, then this little thing will be something that's specific to the Texas Rangers. So that's just an example. And for like the menu, I might have a song like Center Field on there. Okay, well, thank you. I'm glad that you guys are asking me questions. I'm so glad. I've done a few classes where no one's asked me anything, and it made me feel bad. Okay, so I think that we ran like 15 minutes over the class time. You guys have been great, but I'm going to go ahead and have to end this session for today. If you have any questions, something that I wasn't able to answer correctly, or something that you just thought of after the class ends, please call us or email us. Our email is support@photodex.com, and our telephone number is 1-800-37-PHOTO. And y'all have been great. I hope to see you guys in future classes, and thanks again for attending.